Paramani and you're watching The Cup of Dreams. We are still here in Mumbai. I guess we're just about letting all of that happen the previous night at the Wankhede sink in. India has made its way to the final and of course it awaits the other finalist. And that match is happening in just a few moments from now and it's a cracker of a contest. It promises to be a really good match. Australia versus South Africa, that's happening at Kolkata. There has been a threat of showers. It's been a bit damp some days, but it looks like it's all clear and there will be action later today. 1:30 we are at and just waiting for the toss. We know that Temba Bavuma is coming out and he alongside Pat Cummins will be taking part at the toss. And we'll see how that plays out because Temba too was a little unwell some days back. He was not feeling too good, but looks fine. He was also looking good at the nets is what we heard. That's the semi-final that we're looking forward to. And you know, when these two teams go up, it's always exciting cricket. Australia and South Africa have faced each other 7 times in ODI World Cups. It's a 3-all record there. Quite the even Stevens at this point. But you also know every time you talk about Australia and South Africa, there is a history of such close encounters. It's always gone down to the wire. South Africa has had some very unpleasant memories of their encounters against Australia in ODI World Cups particularly. They wouldn't want to go back there. Also because it's a different outfit entirely. It's a team that is completely different from the sides that we have witnessed all these matches that we're talking about between Australia and South Africa. It was a different time. It was a different outfit. The nerves were something else. And now, of course, it's come a different way. It's a completely different outfit. It's a stronger outfit, the South Africa team. There is a set of baggage and burden for both these teams to deliver on different fronts. When we talk about a team like Australia, they always have history, legacy, and just the tag of superpower to always play up to and live up to. A team, a country that has the most number of World Cup titles, 5-time world champions, and they have done well reasonably in the past as well. 2015, a tournament they would always look back to fondly, playing at home and being champions. That's something that will always be in their memory. And a lot of the people, some of the people from that particular outfit are still in this present team as well. So the memories are fresh from a campaign that they have always done well in and played well under pressure on. So for this though, a captain like Pat Cummins, something new for him, but he's delivered. You know, you seeing and hearing all the talk of how Pat Cummins is a very calm captain. He's very, very sedate. And as we are hearing just now from the middle, South Africa has won the toss and will bat first. Surprise, surprise. Why weren't we surprised with that? And this is what they did. I mean, this is what happened in the league encounter between these two that happened in Lucknow. South Africa was batting first and put up a massive score of 300 plus. Which in Lucknow, as we know, those conditions not really the best or the best conditions for batting really. Quite a challenging condition there, quite a challenging track there. And Australia in that particular match really crumbled, 177, and they were dismissed. Quinton de Kock stood tall in that match, 100 from him. A lot expected out of his bat, out of his willow in this encounter too. It is the final frontier of sorts for South Africa. There is one more match. Of course, everyone's eye is on the final spot. Everyone's eye is on November 19th in that final at Ahmedabad. And waiting for either of these teams is one of the most dominant sides in this World Cup, India. So a lot to play for. It is a match that they would want to know this is it. This is the final match for them that they will have to deliver at. Temba Bavuma apparently says weather came into his thinking, but not really going, but really going with the team's strength, which is their batting, as we know. Says he's not 100% fit, but that will have to do because it is the semi-final. You want to give it your all in this particular match. Everyone knows it. Just a bit about how these two teams have come into this particular clash. We'll speak about Australia first. Let us speak about Australia first. They've started slow, but somehow, just as we know how good an outfit South Australia always proves itself to be when it comes to such pressure situations, they've always paced themselves well, and how important that is in a tournament as long as the World Cup, you get to know, because it's very rare that a team stays unbeaten and goes on to win a tournament, and that's the only other country to have done that. Only 2 other countries to have done that are Australia and West Indies, and it was during those glory years West Indies, of course, decades before, in the time that we knew them to be the powerful unit that they were, in the initial editions of the World Cup. But Australia, as recent as 2003 and 2007, the only two editions where they have been unbeaten to go on to win a World Cup title. But this campaign was different. They started off a little slow, a little shakily. Seemed like a lot of them weren't really getting used to those conditions, were coming in a little cold. And then they warmed up so well to the challenge. They lost some key encounters to a couple of the best teams in the tournament, but then built up the momentum slowly. Someone like a Glenn Maxwell, I think a little credit due to him, always comes under criticism for not really being consistent, for being known as a big match player, but not really following it up with the numbers. He really came good and played a crucial knock against Afghanistan. That double ton, the first in ODI World Cups, will be remembered not just for the way he performed and for the challenges he battled, for the cramps that he countered and put up and stood up with and withstood to see Australia through, but really providing that much needed spark and that sort of feeling that, yes, this could be ours, which is what they will remember that match and that tournament for. And of course, we have to talk about Adam Zampa. What a turnaround and what a performance it's been for the young lad here. We talk about Australia and we talk about spinners like Shane Warne, who's done so well at World Cups before, but he's gone past Shane Warne's best at a World Cup as well at 22 wickets. Also snapping at the heels of Muttiah Muralidharan, who's till date the spinner with the highest wicket-taking tally at World Cups. So yes, this is what Australia looks like. A team that is very fearless. It's peaked at the right point. You have all these seniors like someone like even David Warner coming into his own and having those brilliant few knocks that should do him well and bring a lot of confidence to the entire side really when it comes to a crunch match like a semi-final encounter. And then you have someone like a Pat Cummins too, to be that leader in the ranks. Mitchell Marsh coming off a very strong performance in the previous game. Their last league match coming into this one with a lot of confidence. Travis Head as well. So that looks like a strong outfit. And their bowling lineup, when you speak about it, really going to be put under test when they go up against South Africa's batting lineup. So let's move across to look at how the South African team is shaping up and how they have come into this tournament. Again, a team that largely looked really solid, started off really strong, powering through most opposition with their batting alone, completely outbatting any side in this tournament. And they looked really good till that blip against Netherlands, but you sort of put it down to, hey, this happens with the best. One off day, and it's okay to have an off day against Netherlands. But of course, they completely crumbled in Eden Gardens against India, and then you suddenly said, hey, there seems to be a world of a difference between a team like India and that of South Africa. But they somehow seem to have put that behind them. Though, yes, the thought of and the prospect of facing India again in the final can really send both these teams into a bit of a worry, but that is afterwards. What is at present today is their challenge in the semi-final. It's all about nerves. You know, we always talk about talent versus talent. We always talk about skill versus skill. We always talk about man-to-man battles. In each phases, whether it's the power play overs, the middle overs, the death, always talking about in a 50-over format, it's so much about strategy and you see the highs and lows of a game. But in a semi-final, it's so much to do with that mind, right? You saw that in that match yesterday as well. It's all about those nerves and those little moments, those one-off moments that can really sort of make and break a campaign, make or break the way a match pans out. Who knows, that drop catch against Kane Williamson and then maybe both of them putting their heads down, Shami not really coming back fired up after that, could really have changed things around, but that's what it does. You talk about mettle, you talk about perseverance, you talk about being a big match player. And both these sides, Australia and South Africa, have big match players. Sure, they've gotten a fair share of troubles in this campaign. In this particular edition, they aren't nearly as confident or as destructive as what the Indian side has looked to be in this tournament. But both have potential to turn it around and bring it up a notch, up their game to make this count and carry that momentum into the final, which is what will be important. It's not just the win. It's how you're going to close this match out at Eden Gardens and take that momentum forward, because you need that confidence. You need that momentum when you're up against a very solid team like India. So that's what it looks like right now. And if I look a bit at South Africa batting lineup, particularly Quinton de Kock, really shouldering much of the responsibility. All that flair and flamboyance at the top is what has displayed through this particular tournament. A last World Cup ODI, and we keep saying how it doesn't feel like one. But let's not forget the contribution of someone like Erasmus van der Dussen in the middle order. A very quiet contribution from him, really, being that solid, underrated performer for them, have pulled them out of a lot of stops in the past, really dug them out of a few difficult scenarios, having lost Quinton earlier as well in a couple of occasions. Rassie really being the anchor of that lineup to give the freedom to someone like Quinton at the top, and of course Markram or Miller and Henrique lower down, who's again someone who the South African team will look to negotiate Zampa the best. A lot of that, to play freely sort of comes onto their shoulders. So a lot will depend, like we've seen in the last semi-final. A lot will depend on how they pan out. And if you look at the playing 11 there, they have the arsenal. They have the people to make the difference. Again, what we see is you don't want to make too many changes, and Australia has, though. Marnus Labuschagne has come in ahead of Marcus Stoinis for their encounter for Australia. But for South Africa, Marco Jansen is back at number 7. That would be big, and they've gone with 2 spinners. No surprises there, of course. You want to get that in a stadium like the Eden Gardens, where you've seen what's happened in the past in this particular venue. Tabraiz Shamsi there alongside Keshav Maharaj. Both of them will be again very key here later on when they come on to bowl and look to defend whatever total they are looking to go for. We saw that even 400, 330 is what looked good enough yesterday, but 400, that kind of a total automatically in a semi-final puts that added pressure on any team that's chasing. So it's not going to be easy when any 300 plus 350 run target comes up, because that automatically puts that pressure on a chasing side. So yes, all to play for in this semi-final for both these sides. It's the big semi-final, World Cup 2023. The winner at the end of this match is going to face an uphill task, and waiting for them is India in Ahmedabad. So that's the latest then we have from here. We are looking forward to another great contest, much like the one that we had that was played out yesterday. So do keep following us for all the updates here on Cup of Dreams. And yes, we'll see how this plays out. I'll of course be heading to Ahmedabad and give you all the latest from the venue there ahead and build up to really that big final. It's going to be a final like none other this weekend, I'm sure, where all roads will lead to Ahmedabad. For now though, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us here. Do keep following Cup of Dreams coverage here. It's an exclusive coverage for you. Just a few more days left of that, only on First Sports. Thank you.